Stephen, I really want to talk more about who is to blame because you laid out a bunch of factors, but is it fair to squarely put it on one person? I mean, it sounds like a ticking time bomb with those interest rates of when they would rise, mixed with management's fault and the volatility of crypto, but who's most to blame here?
It's really hard because it's natural for everyone to want somebody to blame, and answers like it depends, or it's complicated, or we don't know yet, are difficult for people to accept. I mean, it really seems to be kind of a cacophony of things. It could be poor regulatory oversight. It could be the volatile nature of crypto. It could be poor risk management at banks, failing to kind of look at every possible eventuality and manage risk appropriately. I do think, though, one thing that is important to note is that although obviously crypto is a common thread in all of these banks and its signature, much like Silvergate banked a lot of top crypto companies, much like Silvergate, it offered a 24/7, 365 instantaneous blockchain-based settlement network so clients can move assets between trading desks and exchanges instantaneously. And that was shut down on Sunday night. Ironically, Barney Frank, former Senator Barney Frank of the Dodd-Frank reforms following the 2008 post-financial crisis, was on the board at Signature, and even he said last night that he was surprised at the bank being closed. But regardless, I don't think that crypto itself is to blame for this, and I know that's an easy place for people to go, but these were banking failures. These were not necessarily crypto failures, and perhaps crypto creates new things for banks to think about, especially from a risk management point of view. I mean, certainly there's things that you can't do with crypto deposits that you can do with regular deposits, such as lending out. You have to make sure any lending you do or any sort of rehypothecation with crypto deposits remain in highly liquid securities or just liquid assets so that you can call them back as needed. But I think one thing, again, that is important to note is that this is not necessarily a crypto problem, and that I think it's given the fact that the failure of basically or excuse me, the closure of two banks in California threatened in almost 48 hours to bring down the global financial system. And I don't think I'm being too bombastic when I say something like that. Suggests that crises like this would have happened one way or another, especially as we are trying to suck all this excess liquidity out of the market following the COVID pandemic.
And you said it wasn't exactly a crypto problem, but in your newsletter, you said it's been a very traumatic week for crypto. Stablecoin USDC broke its dollar peg. Can you first explain what this means? And can you walk us through just how bad that is?
Right. So it wasn't a crypto problem in the sense that this was caused by crypto, but it certainly was problematic for crypto. As much as crypto likes to see itself as kind of the antidote, as the antidote to everything that precipitated the great financial crisis in 2008, it remains highly dependent on the traditional financial sector to provide those needed rails to get fiat dollars into the crypto ecosystem, usually by helping to deposit dollars at an exchange like Coinbase, so people can trade. Another way that it's that the ecosystem is dependent on the traditional financial infrastructure is through the creation of stablecoins, fiat-backed regulated stablecoins, which are blockchain-based tokens intended to mimic the price action of a given asset, most often the dollar. They operate, or they're minted by having a depositor put actual dollars into a bank account like BNY, or in this case, Silicon Valley, where Circle, the minter behind USD coin, which is the second largest stablecoin in the world by circulating supply or market cap at about $39 billion, had $3.3 billion locked up at Silicon Valley. And over the weekend, the price dropped from the $1 all the way down to about 85 cents when that was revealed, because over the weekend until I guess about 6 o'clock Sunday night, we were unsure as to whether or not Circle or any of the other depositors above the $250,000 FDIC threshold would get their money back, when or just how much. And so it depegged. It came back and other stable coins also struggled as well. And these stable coins are critical sources of liquidity in the crypto ecosystem because it's easy to price Bitcoin against a dollar token as opposed to Bitcoin against Ethereum, against some other token, where it's very hard, especially for casual investors, to kind of understand price ratios. Whereas basing something or pricing something in a dollar is easy for everybody to understand. So stablecoin issuers are in response. I mean, Circle, for instance, they announced a new partnership with Cross River Bank, which is kind of seen itself to be crypto friendly. They're putting more money at BNY Mellon, but there's still ongoing pressure from the OCC and then the Fed and Treasury to kind of encourage banks to stay away from crypto. So we're going to have to wait to see what happens because those bank accounts are critical lifelines in many cases for key players in this industry.